Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Back in the 40s and 50s, Paul Brown, who had coached at Ohio State, built much of his team, the Cleveland Browns, around players from OSU. Players like Lou Groza and Dante Lavelle, as well as Lynn Houston. Then when Brown went to Cleveland, he brought Lynn's brother Jim to the team and Dick Shafrath. The first player they drafted after Brown got fired by Art Modell was Paul Warfield. It's strange how few Ohio State players have played a major role in the Cleveland Browns over the past 50 years. Even Craig Powell, the linebacker picked #1 by Bill Belichick in 1995, was a total bust, and even his coach John Cooper couldn't believe that he got picked. Terrell Pryor had a lot of promise, but only lasted a season in 2016. So today, Braxton Miller signs on with the Browns, and I think he can help, if for nothing more than special teams. Imagine him starting to return a punt and stopping and throwing the ball 40 yards back across the field. This Browns team already is going to be fun to watch, and adding Braxton Miller to it could make them more fun. Anthony-Lima is fun. He'll be here tonight. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into its 23rd consecutive year. 2 weeks from now, it'll be 24th consecutive year, and seen exclusively on cleveland.com. Anthony-Lima, 92.3 The Fan, is with us. Sports Boy Tony, for those who know.
We're playing the backups. It's like preseason week number 3 now. This is great. I'll call this the dress rehearsal.
Right, but I had to pay full price to get you here the
That's
first
sad.
two weeks.
It's very sad.
So, what do you do about the exhibition season? Do you just dump it completely?
I think we've now reached a point. I think because now teams, like there was a debate. There was a good debate last year with the Rams. Who's this McVay? He's coming in, thinks he knows this league.
Right.
And they're going to get off to a slow start. They're going to miss all these games. They went 13-3. They were not rusty coming out. They end up going to the Super Bowl, a competitive game with the New England Patriots. So I think now all these other coaches are like, we're off the hook. We don't have to worry. Because McVay took the heat off everybody, we can all just rest our guys. Yeah, there will be some people complaining because they're paying full price, but
that's an old argument.
It's an old argument, and they've been doing it for years. And I honestly think most people in the preseason, they give their tickets away anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The season ticket holders.
Good chance to have the secretary's kid who will never see a game.
Right.
Go to the game.
You know what? It is nice. It is football. Granted, it's not top of the mind football, and I think the NFL brand is going to suffer because of this, and I think ultimately they're going to be proactive in making changes. I don't know if they'll have to get to the CBA to do it, but I think they're going down to 3 or maybe even 2 preseason games.
Can you imagine the psyche of some kid who gets taken to an exhibition game, and 10 years later when he finds out what this whole thing's all about, he says, you took me to a stupid game that meant nothing?
But you know what? As a kid, I think that fine, take the kids there. You know, if you can't get them in a training camp, today was the last open training camp practice, so those are already done. And by the way, in other markets, like in Philadelphia, they only had 1 open practice to the public. That's bad. That's really bad as far as I'm concerned, because the youngsters need to grow up enjoying football, because you can't take it for granted that they're just going to love football.
And the other thing is, they made a big deal about a year or two ago about moving the training camp to Columbus. That was just to hide the Browns because they sucked at that time, and they didn't want to put the Cleveland brand on there. Yeah. And I think it did get Jimmy Haslam into Columbus soccer by having whatever meetings they had to.
Yeah, definitely. I still wouldn't rule out down the road them doing something. Maybe if it's just a scrimmage, go back to the horseshoe, something like that. But I would not rule out them doing something. These coaches like to get away sometimes.
All right, now you've been to enough practices, and I have too. Do you think people enjoy going to it? Do you think they have any idea what they're watching?
I can answer that for me. I'm not an X's and O guy in football, and I'm not a follow the offensive line. Like my co-host in the morning, Ken Carmen, he loves watching the offensive line. He genuinely does. He played offensive line in high school, and him and Doug Deacon sit there, and they'll talk offensive line. I have no interest in it. So that's just not for me.
Very few, percentage-wise, very few people have any idea what they're watching out there.
Right, and you know, there's a fervor. You know, I kind of made fun of everybody on day 1 of training camp when we were all doing the rah-rah, and here we go, Brownies, here we go, and I'm like, Guys, this is not the fun part. The fun part is when they go out there week 1 against Tennessee at home.
Right.
That's when it's fun. To me, what I'm seeing, that is not football. Even though that's the building blocks of them getting to be a football team, that's not what I enjoy.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. All right, let's turn our attention for a minute to basketball. Tyronn Lue joining Doc Rivers' staff. He's going to coach now at, Los Angeles, but not LeBron James,
Not
Los
LeBron.
Angeles.
You know, I thought for sure he was going to end up in some capacity with the Lakers, and the fact that it's the Clippers is a same building, very interesting dynamic. We were having the debate today. How much did Ty Lue play a role in them winning the championship? At the time, I thought people said a lot of positive things about his role, how he came in, how he took LeBron.
Yeah, but his role was not offense and defense.
Right, more psychological, more
No one to
chemistry and
pat
culture.
LeBron on the back.
And I think that might be true. But now I don't really hear a lot of fans talking, dreaming about the days of Ty Lue. I just don't hear it.
No, but he's got the ring.
He does. Well, can you name the Toronto Raptors head coach who won the championship last year? I had to Google it today.
Yeah,
Nick
I'll
Nurse.
tell you what, Nick Nurse, who played on the Northern Iowa teams when I was doing Cleveland State.
Come on.
He had an 80-footer at the buzzer to beat Kevin Mackey.
Now, that is a memory, Les.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Nick Nurse. Overnight, he took a turn for the Nurse.
I was waiting for it.
216-575-0403. All right, football. Here we go. We're going rapid fire here. Braxton Miller signs with the Browns. Good move, bad move. Let's back it up and say he didn't play much. He didn't play at all last year. He was with Philadelphia's practice squad. 2 years before that with Texas. What do you think?
Yeah, I think at this point, he's just trying to make a team any which way he can. So maybe punt returner, maybe a return man specialist. Look, this is one of the all-time dynamic Ohio State football players ever. And that injury was so unfortunate. It led to them winning the national championship, crazily enough. But then he comes back, and if you remember, they put him at like this wide receiver, H-back situation, and he had 2 of the best plays I've ever seen, 2 of the best spin moves against Virginia Tech that one year.
Why would you assume they're working on plays right now?
Yeah, look.
For him?
I don't know. I don't know that they need to be very gimmicky or anything. I think they have enough weapons right now. So good luck to him. I think he's just trying to hang on. I think his name and his affiliation with Ohio State probably got him at least these multiple chances to stick around the league.
All right, so my self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason, I said it's astounding how few Ohio State players make it to the Browns over the years. Some did when Paul Brown was here, but after that, not many.
Well, it was shameful when Ray Farmer basically thumbed his nose at any of that, and he would send the scouts to Pro Day down in Columbus. No, I'm sorry. If you're the GM of the league, you got to go to Alabama's Pro Day, Clemson's Pro Day, Ohio State's Pro Day.
It's
End
a
of story.
2-hour drive.
End of story. You don't need the scouts to do that. You need to go see it with your eyes. And look, I'm not saying the Browns need to take Ohio State players every year, but you got to do your due diligence.
Oh, I disagree. I think that the theory of best Buckeye available should hold true.
Okay, and there were years, especially when they went 1-15 and 0-16, they bypassed some of those Ohio State players. I thought that was a mistake. But now I think you have talent. Go get the best players no matter who they're from. But it would be nice. It'd be nice as a Buckeye to go root for some of those Buckeyes on Sundays.
Do you think Braxton Miller makes the team, number one? Number two, what about no, he won't even make the team?
I don't think he's going to make the team.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, he's got very little time left to try to showcase.
Well, you didn't let me finish the question because I was going to say Braxton Miller or Giuseppe Sheehy, whatever.
Did he do anything in the second preseason game?
No.
See, this is the sad thing.
Wait a minute, I would have had to watch all of it to
Well,
know
this
that
was
answer.
the sad thing. We were at the Feast in Little Italy, and every year we watch some of the Browns preseason game because they have these stiff quarterbacks every year that are trying to fight for a job, and then we overreact to it. Well, we don't have that situation now. So the minute we saw Baker wasn't in there, we all left the room. And we're all diehard Browns fans.
All right, so you mentioned the Feast. I understand congratulations are in order to you, the Italian Man of the Year. Is that true?
I am Italian sons and daughters. I'm a little nervous as to who else they were considering that didn't get the nod.
You were unanimous, I heard.
Like Steph Curry, the unanimous MVP.
Well,
what a sad state
not
of affairs.
anonymous, unanimous.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right, so somebody told me that Bishop Pilla was voted in on an 18-2 margin one year, and you were 20-0.
Look, things have slipped.
Over the Bishop?
Things have slipped for the Italians in Greater Cleveland, as evidenced by this honor. But I'm very, very excited about it.
Can you turn the honor down when you get it?
Oh, I can't do that. Come on, this isn't like the Madden curse or Sports Illustrated curse, right? This is a good thing.
Speaking of Sports Illustrated, I'm going to give Brian instructions in the back. We're going to make a switch. We're going to talk about 1989 right now here. We're talking about the Indians in 1989, Sports Illustrated cover, right?
Do you still have it?
No, but here's what I have is the rest. You had Corey Snyder and Joe Carter, right? Look at the rest of the lineup that day. How could anybody pick this team to win the World Series? Oda B. McDowell, Jerry Brown, Joe Carter, Pete O'Brien, left-handed hitting first baseman, Corey Snyder, Dave Clark, who, by the way, his number should have been 5, Brooke Jacoby, Andy Allenson, and Felix Fermin. And the only thing Felix Fermin ever did in the major leagues was get traded to Seattle so we could get Omar Vizquel. Look at that. How could anybody look at that? It looks like all of the people at Sports Illustrated were victims of the Sports Illustrated jinx.
Well, what was it, though? Why did they get that nod? Why was there any buzz? I mean, they hit the ball the year before, but they had no pitching, right? So
Greg Swindell was the opening day pitcher.
Was Candiotti?
Must have been there.
Yeah.
But that was it. You know the first baseman, they played Milwaukee. You know who the first baseman was from Milwaukee?
Who?
Terry Francona.
Oh, I got to see. Did he have any hair whatsoever?
Yes, I think he did.
See
I'll
that.
tell you what. There was you ever watch Intentional Talk on on Baseball Network? So they had Francona on last week, and they told the story. They found some video from 20 years ago. And they told the story that Francona is playing for Milwaukee, and Tom Trebelhorn is the manager. Runners on second and third, 9th inning, and the pitcher's supposed to come up to bat. Trebelhorn says, Tito, get in there and hit. He says, I'm not hitting. He says, why? He says, Ken Kaiser's the umpire. We hate each other, and it's not going to work out well. So he says, you got to do it. So he goes up, gets in the batter's box. First pitch, left-handed batter. First pitch is ball 1, obviously. Now Francona turns back to Kaiser. And they argue through ball 2 and ball 3. You can see the pitches coming, the catcher throwing it back. It's ball 4, and Francona starts trotting down to first, and you see him turn around and yell at Ken Kaiser. Kaiser says, I made 3,000 calls in the big leagues, and Francona said 2,000 of them sucked. He got thrown out of the game.
Before he even made it to first base?
Yes, exactly. It's probably never happened. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Anthony-Lima does a great job on 92.3 The Fan with Ken Carman. You can explore your interests and find a program that puts you on the path to a bright future. That's at Tri-C, which offers 1,000 courses, more than 1,000 courses, and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information on how you can get involved with Tri-C. We'll come back in a moment. Anthony Lima with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
You know, I was able to, meet everybody when I first got here. It was a warm welcome for sure. Everybody's happy, everybody's different, but it was like, I can feel the vibe. I can feel the good energy around the facility and what's going on around here. So I definitely can feel, good energy, positive, vibes.
Did you have a chance to go somewhere else and pick to come back to Ohio, or just curious?
Yeah, I did have a couple of choices, and I think this fell in my lap, and this is the one that I really wanted to go to. Being close to my son, my family, being able to play for my home state. That's one of accomplishments that I always want to do, and I'm just happy to be here.
Son living in Columbus or where?
Columbus, yeah, not too far.
In high school, playing against Eds in the state championship, could you ever think like, wow, I'm going to play for the Cleveland Browns one day, or kind of a surreal feeling right
It's
now?
my dad's team, so we always threw that up in the air. Maybe they manifested down the road in my life, so God put that in my path. So
Sure.
I'm here. I'm gonna take full advantage of it. That's what we want to do. You want to win games, and that's what type of player. That's the type of player I am.
And
Competitive.
you got to practice with a guy like Odell today, Jarvis
Yeah.
Landry. Just what are some of the things you picked up from them, even just one being here one day?
Actually, man, I knew some of the guys before I got here, so
Yeah.
they were surprised when they see me. They're like, "Stop lying, man." You know what I mean? So it's like it was good that they see me here and bring more versatile player to the offense.
Yeah, Jalen Strong, one of those guys that obviously played with the Texans. Probably
Yeah.
good to see him, right?
Oh yeah. Our lockers next to each other, so.
Nice.
He's helping me out right now with the playbook and stuff like that. So that's one thing I really got to do is focus on the playbook and get the grasp of what's going on.
Yeah.
Braxton,
Picking
have
up
they
on
asked
dates.
you, or have they told you what they expect from you? Have they told you where you are going to fit into this thing? I mean, what have they?
Not yet. First day out there, went out there, to show what I can do on the scout team. Just doing my releases, just catching, getting out in the open field. So whatever they come up with, I'm fine with. Special teams, whatever they want me to do on offense, I'm good with.
That's Braxton Miller, and of course, according to Anthony-Lima, we just wasted 3 minutes of airtime because he's not going to make the team.
No, I mean, it was odd, the timing. Now, I will tell you, in Philadelphia, a lot of fans and media were like, he was never used right. But I said every team in the league has a guy like that. You remember we had Josh Cribbs, and what were we saying every year? Then we had Terrell Pryor.
Well, you had to find a way to get him the ball and pass it to somebody, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, I just know every team always has this mythical character. We don't get him the ball enough. He's not being used right. They're not using him in the right scheme. Hey, God bless him. I mean, the guy, if he still has that athleticism that he had, towards the end of college, and after he ends up getting drafted by, the Texans,
Yep.
That'd be great. But look, the Browns have a lot of weapons. I don't think they need to force feed anybody the football.
This segment of More Sports and Les-levine brought to you by our friends at Northeast Factory Direct with 3 great locations throughout northeastern Ohio, factorydirect.com. Anthony-Lima with us. All right, what's the big topic now? You're getting into week 3 of the exhibition season, and the dress rehearsal, of course, coming up Friday. So what's the big topic? Are people on your show talking baseball, or don't they know it exists?
No, I mean,
that it's the greatest game ever invented.
Well, you're a little biased. The Indians get all the way to where they catch the Twins. They were 12 back in the loss column. They were 11.5. So I wanted to celebrate that, and it happened to be that next day that we were on the air.
They were there for a half game.
It was the first day of training camp.
Oh,
and so they wanted to whoop it up and do training camp, and I'm like, what are we talking about? But I think what I was missing, and I'll admit it, I have a blind spot for this because I hate training camp. No matter if I have the best team or the worst team, I'm just not a training camp fan, is just how starved the fans are here for a playoff team.
Well, you're a family of 4, husband, wife, and 2 kids, boy and a girl. Let's make this.
The nuclear family.
Yeah, a nuclear family. Let's make it Norman Rockwell. What is the best day at training camp going to be for you, for that family?
I guess it's probably just day 1. It's the first chance you get to see football. I think that's it.
guess.
They're not even in pads on that day.
I filled in for Jeff Phelps a week or 2 ago, and a father and 3 kids walked by, and they were all wearing Baker-Mayfield shirts, and they all had the fake mustache.
And not the Johnny Manziel fake mustache.
No.
Yeah.
The 7-year-old kids with the Johnny Manziel fake mustache. The Browns PR people have to grab those kids and take them over to Baker-Mayfield, don't they?
And you know
it's
what?
Incumbent
I'll say
upon
this.
them.
I don't know if Baker by year 13 will be doing all these things, but he has done a tremendous job of getting out to the fans and just making it seem like he's the most approachable superstar ever.
Dare I say he gets it?
He does, and I get annoyed when I hear that every day because, look, there's one thing I'm seeing a lot, this sentiment that this was fate, that a guy like Baker, who says what's on his mind, is in Cleveland for the Browns, and that it was fate. And Ken's been telling me this all the time, Ken Carmen. And the only thing I say is, Ken, if we had Patrick Mahomes, we would say that was fate. And we would love the fact that he is under the radar and that he doesn't talk. Like, we'd say that personifies what Cleveland's all about.
We grind it out here.
Yeah, and so I just think you will fit the narrative very smoothly and neatly for whatever guy you has. If it's Deshaun Watson, if it's Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I don't even want to mention injury because once you mention it, it's out of the bag. But what if they're not as good as we all think they're going to be? Are we setting up for the biggest downfall?
What do we think they're going to be? See, this is.
Would you be happy? Do you think the fans will be happy? Speaking for them, let's say 10-6, and for some reason they don't make the postseason. 10-6 would mean Pittsburgh wins the division by a game, but to me, 10-6 is pretty darn good. Sure. Or is it all or nothing?
No, I mean, look, if they go 10-6, that's a great season, and I think very few teams at 10-6 miss the playoffs. I know an 11-5 New England Patriots team missed the playoffs. The Browns one year, then they go 10-6. Was that the Derek Anderson year, and they missed the playoffs.
It was Joe Thomas's first year.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for that to happen, but I'll entertain the notion just for the sake of argument. 10-6 means you won more games than you did the year before. You showed that you had the potential. I'm sure the losses will be heartbreakers, and you'll go to coaching or maybe some.
And if we just made those 2 field goals.
Right. And by the way, this is the one thing about kicking. You asked what we're talking about on the show. The kicking has a chance to take an 11-5 team to 8-8. I mean, that's how big an impact the kicker is in this league. And I asked the question, and we had this guy Warren Sharp on. I said, what are the odds that the Browns season, or any NFL team for that matter, will come down to a kick? And he said, very high.
Well, they are very high, and I don't remember who. I don't like when people say this about stuff I do, but I don't remember who said this. But I think it was Andy Baskin. I think he said that there were 73 games in the NFL last year decided by 3 points or less.
It's incredible.
That's an astounding number.
And so, look, fans like to think that the Browns are going to be in cruise control. We're going to dominate teams like Tennessee. The reality is the league's never that easy. And even the Chiefs, who ended up putting up 50 points in 4 games last year, I think they're third all-time in most points in a season, they played a ton of one-possession games. So that's just what this league is. This league is too hard to run out there and just pulverize opponents week in and week out. It just doesn't happen.
3 great locations of Northeast Factory Direct at the West 140th Street. That's in Cleveland. The old B&B Appliance in Eastlake, as well as Freeway Drive. It's a new one in Macedonia. No gimmicks, no deceiving blowout sales. Just 3 huge bare-bones warehouses. They pay about 1/10 the price for rent as the big box stores do. The bottom line is nobody's going to touch their everyday savings or quality. If you want nice big-ticket items to improve your home and you want to pay half price or less, then you got to go to Northeast Factory Direct with 3 great locations, or shop online at factorydirect.com. Coming up in Northfield Park, that'll be on Sunday, September 1st. It's Ohio Super Night. Super Night features 8 $300,000 championship races totaling over $2.5 million in purses. The first 1,500 guests through the doors beginning at 5 p.m. receive a free Mally's chocolate bar with a mystery ticket inside for cash and prizes, and food trucks all night long, live music, and so much more, including Lady Luck's buffet. That's just $19.95 at Northfield Park, where it's free admission, free parking every day. Anthony-Lima and I, back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine, exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of August and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
First, I'll probably say that this is the one and only time I'll address this issue because, the interview was done back in April, like right after the draft, and just things taken out of context, and that's the problem with today's day and age. You don't read the whole thing, you don't put two and two together, you just kind of read scripts, and then people, they combine sentences from different conversations, and so it seemed very disrespectful, and I can understand that, but what people didn't realize is the conversation entailed of me saying that I was surprised I was drafted #1 overall too, and then me going on a rant after that about QB evaluation, and then me frustration from recruiting processes and stuff that I've had that it's very well documented, my thoughts on a lot of that. And so it had nothing to do specifically about Daniel, about the winning and stuff, but I reached out to Daniel because all that blew out of, way out of hand, and I wanted him to know how I felt, and I've heard nothing but great things from Saquon and Sterling Shepard, guys that, have a lot of respect for him and that I, respect their opinions, and so I just wanted to clear the air with him, and it is what it is. That's today's day and age. You read one thing and you can have your feelings, but that's the only reason I addressed it yesterday is because that, to me, that came back on my character. That's one thing that I don't care about a lot of opinions of it, if you like me or not, but that looked like my character was, way out of line, and so that's the only reason I addressed it.
Were you blindsided by this, or did you know it was?
No, I mean, just once it came out, I was like, wow, that's completely forgot that we even had that conversation back in April, and then was pretty confused about it, to be honest with you, because that wasn't what the conversation was.
What was his reaction to your?
He was very nice. Everything that people have said about him, he was cordial, said no worries, man, because I know Saquon and Sterling and a couple guys over there as well, and so I think that's the good thing about having people around the league that is it can be said whatever's on the outside. People can have their opinions, but when it comes down to it, I've worked with some people, and they know how I am inside the building, and who I am as a person.
Baker, just to be clear, the article made it seem as if you were talking about your mind being blown about Daniel going 6 because of his win-loss record at Duke. That's a different conversation that didn't even involve Duke. Was that not reflective of the conversation?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is it was on the lines of me talking about evaluating and the college frustration of me not getting offers and saying that winning comes, first if you're a quarterback. And, I can absolutely understand the relation to that, and there's no question about it, which is why I felt like reaching out to Daniel. But, that's the type of thing that frustrates me because it was taken out of context, and then on top of that, now we're talking about something that's not about the Browns. And so, to me, that's the biggest thing.
All right, there's Baker Mayfield trying to clear the air. How did he do?
Well, first of all, a good job calling the kid, and I thought that was a pro move. I thought the comments, while they were back in April, and yeah, they probably were taken a little bit out of context.
Not that much.
But he said it. I mean, come on. Is Baker really going to try to say they didn't say it? I wasn't there. Obviously, that reporter has tried to stick up for himself. Here's the thing here. Fans, though, have to make up their mind because when the story came out and it rolled out, some fans were like, all right, he doesn't need to be saying these things. That is a privileged class in that league. Those guys all stick together. You don't hear them rip each other. Bernie used to hang out with all those guys in the offseason. He had his golf tournament. They would all come and join together. The Jim Kellys, John Elway's. It's not that he didn't want to beat them, but I think they enjoyed that they were this rarefied
and they
group.
Could pick each other's brains.
Sure,
too.
absolutely. But fans have to make up their mind because we had a lot of calls right after it that were like, we love this. We love that we've got a guy that says what's on his mind, and he trashes these other guys. We've been trashed for years, and now it starts. And now today, all the calls are, well, see, it's out of context. He didn't say it. I mean, the media's making up everything. It's like, well, what do you want? Do you want him to say it? Do you not want him to say it? I do agree with Baker. It's unfortunate that we're talking about something that's not the Browns.
Yeah, this close to the start of the season. I have a wish list of things, and one of them is there are two phrases I just have to get out of the English language.
Okay.
Can you help me with it?
Sure.
It is what it is.
Okay, I've heard it.
Well, you like it?
That's right up there with it's baseball.
It's baseball. That's what happens in baseball. Here's the other one. At the end of the day.
I knew you were going to get to that one.
I was going to wait till the end of the day.
I knew we'd get to it eventually. But we got to it.
You have any like that?
So you don't like those cliches?
No.
There's a ton of them. I mean, especially the is what it is thing drives me absolutely bonkers.
Oh, you're with me on it.
I am.
Yeah.
Well, you're either with me or against me.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. I can't recall anybody who came into town, LeBron James I can recall, but in football, and as crazy as we are about football here, I can't recall anybody that got almost 100% backing like Baker-Mayfield has. I mean, we've had quarterbacks that have come in. Deshaun Watson had like a 12% backing.
Deshaun Kaiser, yeah.
Deshaun Kaiser, I'm sorry. Can you think of anybody that came in and almost immediately grabbed the hearts and
yeah, I mean, you'd have
whatever?
to say Bernie, the way he engineered his way to Cleveland in the supplemental draft, so that's up there. I think people forget about LeBron. The stuff, which is amazing, the stuff I hear about LeBron, like people are like, well, it's just going to be bigger with Baker. And I'm like, you don't really remember what it was like after he got drafted and when he beat Detroit and they went to the NBA Finals.
Right.
You couldn't love a player more than they loved LeBron. You couldn't. I know people are going to say it's football, so they do love it more. As if you cheer louder at the football game than you did the Cavs games. Like, it doesn't. People are saying that because they're upset about what ended up happening with LeBron and how he turned his back on the city twice.
And by the way, we don't need him to come back at the end.
Well, I don't think he would.
Well, who knows?
He'll never be living here again. And
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it's just I hear this notion all the time about, well, it's just going to be different with the Browns. What, like the 1.3 million or what? Okay, so by then it'll be 8 million that come to the Browns.
No, because you came up with the number 1.3 with a little help from me. You want that to stay. You don't want it 8 million.
Well, it's got to be more. You can't when they win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
It has to be more.
You sticking by that 1.3 million?
Listen, I have gotten together.
It's on Google
with people that know all the algorithms, and they have the different calculus to try to figure out per square foot how many people
you
in a
can
crowd.
get in there.
I've talked to MIT professors.
No matter what it is, it comes out 1.3.
It's 1.3. That's what spits out.
Here's the mistake that was made. I said you got to have an odd number in there. That's the 3, but 1.3 million is really 300,000, so it's not.
It's an even number.
Yeah, it's an even number.
I'll think about that next time. Hopefully, there's the next time.
So, what are you picking for the Browns record?
I have said 9-7, and people are like, "What a downer!" And I'm like 9-7 because they were 7-8-1 last year, 9-7.
And 0-16 not long ago.
Well, to a lot of people, that doesn't seem that much better. But I'm telling you, you can have a way better season and still finish if you don't get the bounces, if you have a few key injuries. I think this division is way harder than people think.
No question. People are just poo-pooing Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, and they shouldn't do that.
Well, Cincinnati.
And Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore is interesting. How long is that gimmick going to last? But I'm telling you, look, if you get a lead on Baltimore, you're good. If you get a 14-point lead, you're good.
Because they can't run the ball.
But that Baltimore team is well coached. They are going to be really hard to stop. They have basically a running back playing quarterback.
Yeah, but just like Baker-Mayfield, don't you think they had enough of the offseason where
there's enough tape?
They can do stuff, yeah.
There could be. Now, they're totally committed. They are pot committed to everything they're doing with that offense. But I saw it firsthand last year against the Browns. They could not tackle Lamar Jackson. If he stays healthy at all, which is an if, I think they're going to win games.
And you're right. Harbaugh is a much underrated coach.
I know. Now, he almost got fired last year, but it wasn't because he's not a good coach. I think things get stale. You saw that with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Eventually, you saw it with McCarthy, a Super Bowl winner, obviously in Green Bay. So I think things do become stale after a while. But maybe this is the reinvention that Harbaugh needed. And I think Pittsburgh, why have we not learned by now that when Pittsburgh loses a wide receiver, they don't really lose any. There's no big drop-off in production.
Well,
They've
that's
gone
because
through
it's Roethlisberger.
From Santonio Holmes. The list goes on of wide receivers that they have lost. Martavis Bryant is another one. Who's the guy they lost to the Miami Dolphins? I mean, just over and over again, they lose these wide receivers, and it seems like they don't miss a beat.
Why is it? Because the offense is structured that way?
Yeah, no, I think they need to get back to running the football. I think they threw the ball too much. Ben Roethlisberger did throw for 5,000 yards last year. Way too much. You need to be a little more balanced in that. He made a lot of huge errors. I think you knew this story would come out. He's going to be a better teammate and a leader this year. He's going to lose weight.
No, he's not.
But that's the storylines we have to gravitate towards.
He hasn't done it so far. He's not going to automatically.
Maybe leadership doesn't mean all that much if you can win 2 Super Bowls and be a terrible
that's
leader.
It. Here, look at this. Look at this leadership. No question about that. Hey, we're less than a month away now from the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame opening its doors to 6 new members.
Can I go to this? Can I crash this party?
You've crashed one before, I think, when Bob Costas was there.
Yes, because I want to go there, and I got to see my man Tony Miller from Villa Angela St. Joe's.
Not a bad athlete.
Oh, yeah, Urban Meyer, too. That guy.
Otis Chapman, John Malloy, Tony Miller, as you mentioned. Tom Leachy, tennis, and Urban Meyer, football, of course, from Ashtabula County. And Rob Moss, one of the great golf names in this greater Cleveland area. Tickets available by calling, and more information by calling 216-241-1919, or you can log on to admin@clevelandsportshall.com. You can also find out how you can nominate somebody you know who qualifies to be a new member of the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame.
He should be getting ready for a football game that Wednesday. What's he doing?
Who's that, Mr. Meyer?
Urban Meyer.
I don't think, listen, we've been trying to get a lot of guys in. Can't get them in because they're working. 216-200-6650 is the number to call, the voicemail of Truth and Reason. If you'd like to, if you can't contact us during the show, which airs live Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to call at midnight, you could do it. We got a call from Singapore.
I'm going to write this number down. What was the discussion?
I don't remember. He just wanted to say hi to his friends in Cleveland who are sports fans. Call anytime, leave us a message. Here's a number, Anthony, 216-200-6650, the voicemail of Truth and Reason. When we come back, we'll hear from Freddie Kitchens. We'll talk Tribe more with Anthony-Lima. Sports Boy Tony as part of Ken Carman's show with Anthony-Lima on 92.3 The Fan. Back in a moment, more sports and Les-Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
No, it's not the secret. I mean, we're going to play our guys some, and I don't know how long yet. You know, we've had a good camp. It's been a good physical camp. You know, these guys have embraced the fact that, you know, they feel like they've been doing some things probably that other teams haven't been doing. And, but again, it doesn't matter until you start playing games. So I recognize that. I recognize the fact of what we do 2 days before a game, in the preseason even, and understand how that can affect someone's body. So that's more so than anything else. That's why I've approached training camp the way we did. And, you know, I'd like to get our work done right now in a controlled environment. So to see how much better we can get on a day in and day out basis. This week's a little different because you're definitely not going to do it next week. You know, so we'll see. You know, some of it factors in on how guys are feeling, you know, little nicks and bumps that they may have because they've got nicks and bumps. I mean, we've had a physical camp. So you just got to factor all those things in and then make a determination. So I'm really not trying to avoid the question. It's just that I don't have all the answers yet because I don't know. A guy can feel totally different on Friday than he did on Wednesday.
But you're not like sitting out the starters by choice. You know what I mean? Like you could have just said we're shutting down everybody for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's going to be a player-by-player basis. You know, a certain player may need something different than another player, you know, so we try to, you know, make everybody feel special.
I hate to see him after a loss.
Well, how do you think? Well, there's not supposed to be many of those this year.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, but There's a side. Don't you think there's a side to him that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's, so far, his approval rating is like 100%.
Right.
Right?
Which it wasn't when the job came open.
Well, the week before, it was Greg Williams that was supposed to
Right.
get the job. I mean,
Right.
the week before the end of the season. And then they go on and lose that game against the Ravens. It felt like a playoff game. And then everyone's like, oh, what are we talking about? We need to hire Freddie Kitchens. And look, everybody loves Freddie right now. And you're hearing fans say, look, the camp is tougher and he's got the players' backs. These are things we say every year. I mean,
Right.
every year at the start of a regime. I can go back and show you the articles about what people said about Hugh Jackson's first practice. You had a bunch of veterans saying, this is the best camp I've ever been at. So I think we have to be careful not to get swept up in the newness and the fact that right now it's a blank slate with Freddie Kitchens, no tarnishing at all because he hasn't lost a game.
Right.
Now we got to go out and evaluate him and see how this thing actually works.
I don't want to be a downer about this, but legitimately, there are four things that bother me as the season comes about.
Only 4.
Well,
that's good.
Right now.
Used to be like 24.
Left tackle,
Mm-hmm.
right guard,
Mm-hmm.
kicking game,
Mm-hmm.
and the coach. We don't know anything about the coach.
Right, and all I'm saying about Freddie might end up being a great coach.
And I hope he does.
Coaches can come from anywhere, and people will bring up Andy Reid had no history actually calling plays before he got the job. But this Freddie thing is going to be a trial by error. I mean, we'll see this thing,
And you're going to see
hopefully it
him.
works.
There will be a botched clock management situation.
And that's every coach. And you know what? He's going to make rookie mistakes this year. The
Yep.
question is this team talented enough to overcome them? I think they are. Baker going into his first full year where he's quarterback start to finish. I'm excited for it because I think Baker's only going to get better.
Is the kicker on opening day on the roster right now?
Oof. I think yes, but I do not think they will hesitate to pull
Won't
the plug.
have shelf life.
Yeah, and I mean, right now Seibert looks like he's going to get cut. And I know people are going to go after John Dorsey for that.
He still has a good record.
I still commend Dorsey. I know I'm in the minority. There are people that do not want to draft kickers ever. They think it's a crapshoot. But the one thing you can't say is that he did not try to address the kicking situation.
Yeah,
He did.
He thought
with
he
a
was the
fifth-round
guy,
pick.
but you'd look at his record at Oklahoma, not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other thing. You pointed it out during what Freddie was talking about, how most coaches have a certain approval rating when they come in. He's in a situation where he's going to have to, unlike most first-year coaches, he was given a pretty good roster to work with.
This is as good a situation as you can come into in
Yeah,
the NFL.
he's not some of the horrible teams and has to pull a rabbit out of his hat. But when he was talking about play him, there's the old argument at the beginning of the season, how long do you play the first string? And then at the end of the season, you're hoping if you have a bye in the playoffs, you say, and it holds true in baseball also, what's better, rust or rest? And it's the same argument. It's the beginning of the season and the end of the season, and they collide.
I just think you're getting to the point where the NFL belief system going forward is going to be, hey, we'll take our chances with rust. These quarterbacks are too good. There's nothing the defenses can do. They can't hit them. Yes, they're too valuable. You can't hit them anyway once the season begins. And the defenses are so hamstrung anyway that, you know what, maybe there's a quarter of rust, but these quarterbacks are too good. They'll be able to deliver. And it's just the only unfortunate part of it is fans get excited to see their teams in the preseason, and you just got to get that out of your mind.
Somebody said to me that, well, what if he gets hurt? Well, they all get hurt, and there's not enough good second-string quarterbacks to come around. If you have to go to your second-string quarterback more than one time to finish a game when a guy gets hurt, plus maybe one game to start, you're not going to win anyway.
Yeah, the Nick Foles thing was an anomaly, and you're praying that Baker can stay healthy. People forget about the shot he took last year in Tampa Bay. He took a few shots, and his ankle was a little bit messed up, and it definitely hurt him over the course of the next few weeks before Hugh Jackson ultimately ended up getting fired. He's a guy that his size, he's not going to want to take a lot of hits, and I think that offense is going to scheme around an offensive line that may not be as good as we were hoping.
Yeah, but don't we think he understands now that he's got to get rid of it at certain times?
Yeah, and he does a pretty good job at that. He does try to extend the plays.
He wanted not a lot of dirt on his uniform, that's for sure. Northeast Factory Direct with 3 great locations. If you really need some furniture and want some really nice stuff, but you don't want to spend an outrageous amount of money, you got to check out Northeast Factory Direct. They've got sofas and sectionals and mattresses, dining room sets, hot tubs, pool tables, and much more. It's the same stuff, if not nicer, than you'll find at the big expensive retail stores, except for one thing. You're going to pay a half or less price than you're going to pay at the big box stores. 3 great locations at Northeast Factory Direct, West 140th in Cleveland, of course, Lakeland Boulevard in East Lake, and Freeway Drive. It's the new one in Macedonia. Check out everything they have at northeastfactory.com. We'll come back in a moment. Hey, where were you last week? You were supposed to be at Sokolowski's.
I think I might have to do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Are you going to be
1:15.
there? You're going to be there?
I'm there.
You can't tell everybody. The paparazzi
Right, like,
shows up.
Like I'm doing a commercial for them, and if I mention something and a lot of people show up, that's a bad thing.
Maybe just a little inconvenient for us.
Well, it is, but I've been talking about them every day for 25 years, actually,
Wow.
on radio and TV. I've got nothing left to say. If you know, I get people, they come up to me there, and they say, boy, I've heard you talk about Sokolowski's for a long time. This is the first time I've been able to get here. They say, hey, that's on you, not me.
Yeah, eventually, you got to realize just the greatness that is Sokolowski's.
The greatness
in
that is
Tremont.
Sokolowski's, no question about it. The winner of the James Beard Foundation Award, only 5 restaurants in the country get that each year. They're the only one, to my knowledge, that ever won it from Greater Cleveland. Cleveland's oldest family-owned and operated restaurant, Sokolowski's University Inn, 5 minutes out of downtown. Take the Abbey Avenue exit, Interstate 91. Or 90 rather, that's where you're going to find Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. Anthony-Lima and I return in a moment. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of August and save up to 50%. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Anthony, let's take a look at this date in sports history. Back in 1948, Cleveland's streak of 8 wins, 4 shutouts, and 47 scoreless innings ends when Bob Lemon lost to the Chicago White Sox by a score of 3-2. The night before, 79,000 people showed up for a game at Cleveland Stadium.
That's really hard to even visualize. I know back then they didn't have a lot of other options.
And great seats were $3.
Okay. What would that be today?
Well, $3 isn't even the fees that you have to pay.
No, I just can't even fathom. And I've seen the old shots of Municipal.
I was at games. Believe it or not, you can do the math. Game 4 of the '54 World Series.
Did you wear a suit and tie?
I did not. I wore toddler shorts, probably, whatever that is. Here you go, 1960. This date in Les-levine history. Les gets a cease and desist order from the LA Dodgers. Les and his brothers played their wiffle ball games at Chavez-Levine, and they were informed that Chavez-Ravine didn't even open until 1962. So I think they stole the idea from me.
I think they did. Thievery. It's a high honor.
Facebook question of the day. I will ask you first. Who from the Indians needs to step up as they fight for the AL Central? Who's the important person?
The bullpen in general. I think everybody in the bullpen. Right now, I think the bullpen, I don't know that they've been taxed. Tito, I think everybody's using their bullpen these days, and Tito's used a bunch of guys like he always does. But this is the wrong time to feel not so great about your bullpen.
Yeah, especially your closer.
Yeah, and look, Minnesota doesn't have a good bullpen, and a lot of teams around the league are faltering this time of year.
So let's look at the responses. Angelo Costanzo says Brad Hand.
Yep.
Gerard Morelli says Reyes is absolutely right there.
What do they do with Reyes? What can they do with him?
Now or in the future?
Right now.
Boy, I don't know. Kevin Malone says Kluber. Shame he's hurt again, but it would be nice to see him out there for the September stretch drive. Don't count on it. Wouldn't it be sweet to see number 23 in left field now? That would be, I believe that would be Brantley, right? Not LeBron.
We're going back to, I don't know if LeBron can handle it out there.
Dennis Davis says Mercado needs to focus on consistency and making more contact. He needs to stop looking like a rookie. How do you do that?
Well, he is a rookie, and
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I still think, and it's baseball, I think him getting inserted into the lineup when he did started the whole turnaround. I really do, because I think everybody on the team realized, we are gonna actually, have a pulse in this lineup.
At the end of the day, he's still a rookie in baseball. Andy Mees, Oscar-Mercado needs to step up and learn from his rookie mistakes, particularly on defense. Hopefully he's gotten them out of his system before the Tribe falls too far behind Minnesota. But you know what? The guy you should trust and believe in really messed you up the other day. And I hate to get on Lindor's case, but trying to steal third base in that game was one of the stupidest.
You didn't like it, huh? You didn't have the faith in his aggressiveness?
I had some people say, well, if he made it, they'd have had a runner on third. Yeah, but number one, he didn't make it, and in that situation, you got to be able to walk in there without even sliding.
He owned it. He owned it after the game.
Good for
but
him.
I still think what makes Lindor a great player and a superstar are his instincts, and I think sometimes the instincts are going to be wrong.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, you can't make him afraid of doing stuff. Rick May says Clevinger and Bieber, if they haven't already, they both have to have the mindset that they're 1 and 2 in the pitching rotation.
And they are. Those are number 1 and 2.
They are.
Isn't that crazy? Would you have said that at the beginning of the year? Well, you have Carrasco, Bauer, and Kluber, and we're not talking about all 3 of those. We're not talking about as a starter now in a series.
And then you got to have guys win. Guys like
Plesac
has to win. Other guys have to win. And
look, Plutko got a win in New York, which was just crazy to me.
Hard to believe. Tough to handicap baseball, no question about it. So who needs to step up for the Indians? According to our non-scientific poll, Oscar-Mercado, Franmil-Reyes, and Brad Hand. I did the work on this. Here's the most errors in baseball this season. Domingo Santana from the Mariners have 12. And bunched in with 6 is Oscar-Mercado.
12 errors. Think about 12. So as bad as you think Oscar's been in the outfield.
Twice as bad.
And you know what the thing is? Errors don't even tell the story.
Well, but Oscar, he's only played half the season.
Sure, and they've tinkered with him. They've moved him around. He wasn't an everyday player right away. So you got to factor all of that in. I think he can get better. He's such a great athlete that I think he will get better. And I still think he has been a huge part of this turnaround for this team.
My research staff, the department, you know the department?
The crack staff.
Crack staff.
You paying these guys more than me?
No, I think on an hourly basis you're doing very well in this department. But I do want to mention that, the 40-man roster or whatever, I don't know how many players the Indians have used this year. It could be around 40, right? They had some really bad.
In total? Go back to the guys at the start of the year.
Yeah, there were some bad guys.
Ramirez, Moroff, Brad Miller.
Yeah. How about Stamets?
He was an opening day lineup.
All right, so here's the thing. The crack research staff came up with 7 guys with first names that the Cleveland Indians since 1901 have never had. Franmil.
Franmil, okay, that's a first.
The right fielder.
Okay.
Did you forget the right fielder?
Who?
From Cuba.
Who's that? You can't put me on the spot like this. It's my first year.
We'll come back to that.
It's my first year watching baseball.
All right. Number 66, does that help?
No, it doesn't. I don't know numbers. I don't enjoy the game like that. I watch it at a bar with the sound off.
Good idea. And
drinks in hand.
You're a millennial. Are you past millennialism?
Are we talking about Luplo or Naquin?
No, we're talking about, Naquin we've had.
Okay.
Luplo we've had. Yasiel Puig.
Oh, that guy.
That's the first and last name that we haven't
That's
had.
our first Yasiel?
Yeah.
Anyway, millennial. I'm a borderline.
So do you like that the Indians don't play to you if you're the borderline baseball fan, and they do play to you if you're the drinking fan?
Look, they've definitely changed it. I think you can have whatever experience at the ballpark that you want to have now.
Okay.
And that's made Progressive Field. I got to tell you, I've been to other ballparks. They have the best concessions of anyone in Major League Baseball.
Look at the different, the not just the volume, but the variety.
I'm surprised. I will say, and I think some people with the Indians are surprised. Their attendance is going to end up going backwards, and a lot of it had to do.
This year?
Yeah, it's going to end up being less than last year, which is, look, they
haven't
started.
had a lot of crowds under 20,000 since May, the end of May.
You know, I just think for whatever reason in the city going forward, they're going to be a summer draw. And then if they're in
That's it.
They'll get. And they sold a lot of tickets for this Kansas City series this weekend.
Yeah.
But it does surprise me that more people have not jumped out. I know they had less season ticket holders this year than they did last year, which bucked the trend of where they were going. But it does surprise me a little bit.
Northfield Park with Ohio Super Night, Sunday, September 1st. Coming up soon, Ohio Super Night features 8 $300,000 championship races totaling over $2.5 million in purses. Post time for the live race begins at 6 p.m. The first 1,500 guests through the doors beginning at 5 p.m. get a free Mally's chocolate bar with a mystery ticket inside for cash and prizes. Limit 1 per person, 18 and older, please. Food trucks will be there. Live music by Rick and Sharona. More games and other great chances to win cash. Caribbean cruises, a trip to Las Vegas, or a 2019 Buick Encore, all at Northfield Park with free admission, free parking every day. We'll come back in a moment. We'll check out some emails when we get back. Anthony Lima with us from 92.3 The Fan. More sports and Les-Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement,
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
and we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of August and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, joins us. You see us live from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, it's replayed throughout archiving all day and night through cleveland.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. Pretty good birthday day. Look at Will Chamberlain. Didn't score 100 on that day. I'm sure he scored, though.
One way or another.
Will Chamberlain. You know, there's no record of that game. It was played in Hershey, Pennsylvania. There's no pictures, there's no video, there's nothing. A lot of people think it's a conspiracy that game never even happened.
Oh, come on.
Willie Lanier, the Hall of Famer. Harry Situation, 1947. Archie Griffin.
That's
Usain Bolt.
That's actually Grizzly's father.
Grizzly
Situation.
I didn't know that. You can answer this for me. How come the Electoral College has never won a bowl game?
Can we get into the Electoral College? Do we have enough time?
Next time.
Okay.
Next time. All right. I'm getting yelled at on email.
Well, you should be.
Well, you didn't correct me.
Well, I was too young.
The Sports Illustrated cover featuring Corey Snyder and Joe Carter was actually 1987.
I got it right there.
Here
Indians
you go.
Uprising. Indian Uprising.
All right, 1987. Here's the starting lineup: Tony Fernandez, Tony Bernard rather, Brett Butler, Julio Franco, Joe Carter, Andre Thornton, Brooke Jacoby, Pat Tabler, Corey Snyder, and Chris Bando, who might have been the slowest Major League runner of all time. So you look at that. Now, let's say you and I work for Sports Illustrated, and we say, let's pick the Indians to win the whole thing. And what would that be based on, Anthony?
I have no idea. There's no way with that lineup. There's no way. There had to be a reason, though.
I guess.
It said
nice guys.
I met Pat Tabler once, and
he was my coach at fantasy camp.
And went to school with Thorntons.
Oh.
So there you go. That's my
Andre
connection.
on the board of directors of the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame. All right, so there they yelled at me. I have to
always correct Les.
Mr. Gullible, remember Mr. Gullible? Yep. Emails us every night. Tonight he's at a dry Rubber Ducks game. This time, just took a tour around the country on assignment He's gone to about 4,000 different baseball stadiums. He says, "How come? Yes, Anthony, I'm very much alive and well." Did you wonder if he was?
I think last time I asked the question.
Okay. Well, there's no quickie here tonight. How come I wanted Sports Boy Tony banned? I never wanted him banned because I enjoyed his wit and sports knowledge delivered in a humble and respectful tone.
And then what happened to any of that?
Yeah.
Over the years.
Look how well you've done. Good for you.
I lost most of it.
John Patrick, how come I knew the marriage wouldn't last when the bride brought a date to the reception? That's I found that to be the first clue.
It's a good indicator.
All right, you got about a minute, maybe.
Okay.
What do you got?
A little nervous about the Indians catching the Twins. I think we got too excited about just catching them for the moment and not getting some breathing room. And so right now, as of right now, you're 2.5 games back. They lost today, but their schedules. The Twins lost. They're still have the easiest schedule in the majors. Majors.
Let me tell you this. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
I think I've learned something. That's good.
Very good. I'll see you Friday because I'm doing in for Jeff Phelps on 92.3 The Fan from 10 until 2. You're still going to be hanging around. You get out quick. You get out before the delay gets out.
Yeah, the goal is to get out of there and go home.
The goal should be, and I did this at WHK, I would get to my car before I would say recent.
Hear your last word.
That'll do it for us. Thanks to Anthony-Lima. He's terrific on 92.3 The Fan and terrific in real life. I'll see you tomorrow with the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.